Coming up, the latest on an overnight shooting in Sarasota that injured 4, including 2 police officers. Plus, an accused killer is found guilty. What's next for John Allen Lee? And new details on a violent Sarasota hit-and-run case as the victim looks for answers and sheriff's deputies look for the driver involved. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to start this afternoon with our weather. ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi is tracking some very strong storms approaching the area right now. John?
Yes, indeed, Scott. It is a first alert weather morning, no doubt about it. Here's our tower cam looking out over Gulf waters, and you can see a strong downdraft signaled by a shelf cloud on this thunderstorm moving in across Tampa Bay. A special marine warning was issued for this cell and others just like it, forming a line that are now moving through Tampa Bay and into Manatee County. That is a signal of some strong, gusty winds. Severe Storm Prediction Center has indicated this area in dark green as a marginal risk zone for severe weather, meaning it might get some severe weather, you might not. It's just barely meeting the minimal marginal criteria for the possibility of thunderstorms, so it's potentially a threat. Not necessarily for tornadoes, but certainly for some strong gusty winds, large hail, and I think one of the other threats from this storm is going to be the number of lightning strikes that we get with it as well. Interesting to note that this storm earlier, this line of storms earlier when it was up near the Jacksonville area, near St. Augustine, was producing some golf ball size hail, so some significant hail with this storm. And in fact, we could see some hail around here as well. I don't think we'll see any quite that large, but certainly some dime-size hail, certainly not out of the question with some of these hails. In fact, some of the severe storm, or the thunderstorm markers that we have on our radar are indicating hail signatures, an indication that the Doppler radar is believing to find hail. And we have some hail signatures from some of the thunderstorms as well. So potentially there could be some small hail around. Watch for that. Lightning strikes also a big issue this day with these thunderstorms moving southward. And in fact, if you look at the line of storms, there's a big cluster out here in Gulf water of lightning strikes. 242 lightning strikes being right now monitored just over the Suncoast area. So a significant storm system moving in, bringing us rainfall this afternoon, for a lot of the afternoon, in fact. We'll talk about it more coming up in a few minutes, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Our other top story today, 2 police officers and 2 suspects are recovering after an early morning shooting in Sarasota. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo joins us live now from where that shooting took place in North Sarasota. Dwayne?
Well, Scott, here's what we do know. Sarasota Police Chief Bernadette DePino says the incident happened 1 o'clock this morning, basically here at the Dejaney Gardens apartment complex. 2 officers approached the vehicle when it sped towards one of the officers. One of the officers then fired at the vehicle. The other officer never fired his weapon. There were 3 people in the car at the time of the shooting. The driver, Jeremy Trebles Jr. If you remember, he was a member of the Venice High State champion football team that was arrested in January on cocaine charges. He's being treated in the hospital as we speak and will be charged with aggravated assault. One other person in the car had non-life-threatening injuries as well. The officers received minor injuries. They were treated and released. The chief expressed concern not only with this case, but other incidents in the community as of late.
Unfortunately, we've had a pretty challenging week in our police department, and we're facing some pretty serious things that are happening within our community, and I'm really concerned about the level of violence that's going on within our community. And as this investigation goes on, we're going to be looking and seeing who is connected with who and whether drugs are involved, weapons are involved.
Now the investigation is still ongoing and being looked at. So we'll bring you the latest here on ABC 7 later this afternoon. Scott, back to you in the studio.
All right, Dwayne, thank you so much. In other news today, new developments on the showdown over Syria. President Trump says he's considering now military action. ABC's Molly Hunter has the latest from London.
President Trump has made it clear that nothing is off the table in Syria.
We're making a decision as to what we do with respect to the horrible attack that was made near Damascus, and it will be met, and it will be met forcefully.
And this time, the U.S. may not go it alone. The question now, not if, but when. Yesterday, UN Ambassador Nikki Haley tried to rally international support.
The monster who was responsible for these attacks has no conscience, not even to be shocked by pictures of dead children.
So many children and dozens others were killed in a suspected chemical attack in Douma, a town just outside of Damascus, controlled by rebels fighting President Bashar al-Assad.
This is about humanity. We're talking about humanity. And it can't be allowed to happen.
Assad's regime has used chemical weapons before to kill, but denies the reports, claiming the videos are fabricated. Syrian activists took video of Russian specialists allegedly visiting the site of the attack, but for just 20 minutes. After their survey, Russia's foreign minister said there were no traces of chlorine or other chemical substance used against civilians.
And the White House says President Trump has cleared his schedule for today and will skip his trip to South America, all suggesting his response may be imminent. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
Another resignation at the White House. Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert is leaving the administration. Bossert led the White House's effort against homegrown terror threats, strengthening cyber defenses, and helping respond to last year's series of natural disasters. The White House has not given the exact timing on when his resignation will take effect. More than 24 administration officials have either resigned or been fired since President Trump took office last year. New at noon here on the Suncoast, John Allen Lee is preparing for sentencing after a jury found him guilty of murder in Sarasota County. Lee convicted of the 2011 murders of his ex-girlfriend Tracy Nabergall and neighbor Jason Salter. His first trial ended in a mistrial, and even though he was found guilty of murder in a second trial, the judge later threw out that conviction. Sentencing is happening now as Lee faces the death penalty or life in prison without parole. Sarasota police investigating the cause of an accidental shooting that injured one of its officers. An off-duty SPD officer was injured at the Morgan Family Community Center in Northport. The officer was not in uniform and after accidentally shooting himself was taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Sarasota and Northport police are now working together to make sure all policies and procedures were followed. We're hearing now from a hit-and-run victim who hopes his story will help find the driver involved. A road rage hit-and-run incident caught on camera has gone viral on social media. Darren Hendrickson was riding his motorcycle down Beneva Road near Riviera Drive Sunday evening when he says the driver of the car in front of him slammed on his brakes. Hendrickson and the driver of the gray Mazda 3 exchanged words and gestures, and then as you saw, Hendrickson was knocked off his bike and partially run over. He says the incident has left him shaken.
The only thing running through my mind is like, once I realized I wasn't dead immediately, it was more or less a fight or flight, you know. I gotta be here for my son.
Sarasota County Sheriff's Office is still trying to identify the car and the driver who could face aggravated battery charges as well as the cost of replacing Hendrickson's $9,000 motorcycle. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why new research suggests vaping could become an epidemic for teenagers. And the exciting new lineup announced for Ringling College's next lecture series, including Shaq.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in a car accident, the state of Florida only gives you a specific amount of time to file a claim. So act now, give us a call.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories, custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Accolades are great. Just wait until you see our prices. Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So very heavy rainfall moving through the area currently. Current conditions, 79 degrees. We're dropping in temperature, 73-degree dew point, south-southwest wind continuing to funnel in the moisture and thunderstorms in progress. We've been talking about this line of showers for a long time now. And today is the first alert weather day because of the potential for some heavier rainfall. In fact, we already have heavy rainfall. We now have an urban flood watch up for the area warning, rather. 2 inches of rain fallen from some of these larger storms, particularly this one now in Wauchula. We're looking for Hardy, DeSoto, Manatee County, all seeing the potential of some flooding rains over the course of the next hour or so. And this entire line also has a lot of lightning pops with it. You can see all the little red markers here. The white markers indicate recent lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes. And there is plenty of lightning associated with these storms. And it's holding together very nicely, indicating that these storms are potentially not weakening all that much. I mean, I don't think we'll see the hailstones that they saw up in North Florida, but still we have the potential of seeing some very gusty winds, as well as the continuation of these heavy rains that we're seeing right now. Manatee County, 2-inch rainfalls already in some of these storms. Same thing over here in Hardy County, DeSoto County as well. We'll see that. So the potential for your flooded roadways exists throughout the next couple of hours. So if you don't have to be out on the roads, I certainly wouldn't do it. I'd stay at home until you can watch these storms pass by a little bit later in the afternoon. They'll probably get another breath of life in them as we progress later into the afternoon and into the evening, and I'll show you why in just a second. These storms can carry out into the open waters, and as I mentioned, some very heavy rainfall around in Manatee County, plus some of these storms, like this one right here, near Wauchula, producing hail. That area in purple, an indication of a hail zone where there is potential large hail possible. And more thunderstorms now moving onshore for areas of Upper Longboat Key and Minnesota as well. Look at the satellite view. You see this explosion of clouds out here? That is another area, another impulse in the upper atmosphere that will be moving through here later in the day, and that's the reason I think this storm system will get re-energized. Now, on the good side of things, the fire danger index across our region is now low, so that's good. We could use this rainfall, but certainly we don't want to see anything in the way of any kind of severe weather, and the actual severe weather risk is actually kind of low. A 70% chance of storms for all of us through 3 p.m. and then another good chance as we head into 7 o'clock hour as well. So this storm system will carry on throughout the afternoon and into the evening. 81 first alert weather day as we head into tomorrow, 78 degrees. Nice tomorrow though. The front will move through, drier air will move in, high pressure will build, and we'll have several really nice days of fair weather. Guess what though? We have another system moving through on Sunday with a 70% chance of more storms. Some of them could be strong, could be a first alert weather day on Sunday as well. And that front is actually a stronger one, which will cool us down on Monday to 74 degrees. Scott?
Okay, John, we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. In Health Smart, vaping is meant to be an alternative for adults who are trying to stop smoking cigarettes, but it's now an alarming new trend that some are calling an epidemic among some. Mary Maloney has more on what the FDA is planning to do now.
A recent U.S. Surgeon General report found that since 2011, e-cigarette use among high school students has increased 900%. 1.7 million high school students said they had used e-cigarettes in the previous 30 days before taking the 2016 National Youth Tobacco Survey. 500,000 middle school students said the same. The trend is now accelerating among teens. A new generation of easily hidden devices emits so little smoke that some students are even vaping in class.
The most popular item, which is the Juul, and as you can see, it looks like a flash drive. It's not. And then the kids can just tuck it away when they're done.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is concerned that some companies are targeting and marketing e-cigarettes and vaping products to teenagers.
No kid should be using any tobacco product. We're going to be taking some enforcement actions very soon to target companies that we think are marketing products in ways that they're deliberately appealing to kids.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
Today is National Youth HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. Its goal is to educate more teens about preventing the disease and getting tested. According to the CDC, 1 in 5 new patients diagnosed with HIV are between the ages of 13 and 24. Part of the problem here, 17-year-old Camille Homer says the focus in high school sex ed classes is not on HIV and AIDS.
In school, they don't really talk much about the HIVs. It's more of STDs and what you can do to get rid of STDs. It's really not the topic of HIVs.
I wish they understood that, you know, those that are at highest risk and living with HIV are, you know, average 13 to 24 for being diagnosed. You know, they're not exempt by any means because they're young, and they're not exempt just because maybe they have sex one time. That's all it takes.
It's important for teens to get tested. Despite the high numbers of HIV cases in teens, only 10% of high school students in the United States have been tested for the disease. That's according to the CDC. There are some new steps in place to protect people enrolled in Medicare. New cards are in the mail to help thwart scams aimed at seniors enrolled in Medicare. These cards will have an 11-digit ID number instead of a Social Security number. Congress mandated this change by April of next year. All 59 million participants will get the new cards sometime over the next year. All right, let's head over to the kitchen and say hello to our good friend, Chef Larry Barrett from Simply Gourmet. Larry, great to have you back today. What's on the menu for this afternoon?
Today, fried green tomato salad with heirloom tomatoes, blue cheese, sherry shallot vinaigrette, baby greens. This is my favorite salad. I love it, and I can't wait to show you how to prepare it. I'll be right back.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today. And named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
The Wild Broadway series brings you Funny Girl. Fanny Brice dreams of being famous and through sheer guts and determination becomes a star of the Ziegfeld Follies. Playing March 28th through April 15th, it's the songs and story that generations have grown to love. Call the Players Center at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. Don't rain on my parade. Come see Funny Girl.
20 years ago, the moviegoers of Sarasota looked up at the silver screen and wanted something more. And they got exactly what they wanted. 20 years of some of the best independent films from around the world. The most iconic Hollywood stars walking the red carpet. The most glamorous parties in Southwest Florida. 20 years building up to the most exciting announcement in, well, 20 years at the Sarasota Film Festival, April 13th to the 22nd.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Welcome back. The Meadows Cup Pro-Am Golf Tournament returns this month for the 22nd time. The Meadows Country Club event has raised more than $1.1 million for Easter Seals Southwest Florida. And joining us now to tell us more about the event and how that money is used to help children and adults with special needs is Tom Waters, the president and CEO of Easter Seals Southwest Florida. Tom, thanks so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure too. Well, this is one of the premier golf tournaments in the area, and the Meadows Country Club really, they just roll out the red carpet for all participants for this tournament, and I have no doubt they're going to do the same this year, right, Tom?
Certainly, they have. They have for many years now. This local golf tournament for this local charity that's providing services for local children and adults with disabilities has been doing this for 22 years, and we get a chance to be a part of it thanks to our top sponsor, the Florida Resource Management Group, great sponsors like Willis Smith and longtime supporter Sun Hydraulics. As those groups come together and the country club puts out a spread like you don't see at tournaments, between the lunch and the exquisite buffet dinner that chef puts out. But in the meantime, you've got 18 holes of golf where you're having not just a lot of fun, but you're playing with a pro, so your game gets better. So all of us can play, all of our abilities shine, and most importantly, we get to help children in our community.
Well, let's talk more about that, Tom. Tell us about the services offered by Easter Seals and how you help those with special needs in our community.
Would love to. In just the last couple of years, we've gone from serving just north of 500 to almost 900 children and families with special needs. 35% of the children we serve now are on the autism spectrum. 10 years ago, those would have been very different numbers. So we're able to add through this, and because of this need, things like behavioral therapy. Our newest partner, Brainwaves, is bringing in neurofeedback to help focus. When children can focus, they can learn. When they can learn, sometimes they can actually work and do a lot of things that folks weren't thinking they might be able to do. Our role is to help everybody and their family be as independent and productive as possible here on the Sun Coast. So lots happening at Easter Seals Happiness House. Started in 1946, just up the road by the airport, now serving almost 1,000 families.
That's awesome. And I'm glad you mentioned it's Happiness House, which is what the original name of the facility. Now you're calling it Easter Seals Happiness House to sort of connect with that history that you have here.
The roots are deep. I mean, there are children surviving polio over at the airport in Quonset Hudson. They came across the street and bought those 6 acres. And literally, we have gone from polio to palsy to dystrophy to autism, and we continue to serve everything in between. When you come to Happiness House, not only are you getting those therapies for your children, but there are programs for adults and seniors. We have our own little Senior Friendship Center, which makes every day very special up on Braden Avenue, right up the street from here.
Right off US 41 by the airport. The Meadows Cup Pro-Am Golf Tournament happens Saturday, April 21st at the Meadows Country Club in Sarasota. Tees off at 1 o'clock. All proceeds will benefit Easter Seals Southwest Florida Happiness House. And for information and how you can take part, go to the event's website, themeadowscup.com. Tom, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Scott. And thanks for being our honorary chair and for ABC7 doing all they do for so many of us here on the Sun Coast.
It's our pleasure, and it's my honor to be a part of that event. It's such a great one in the area. All right, Tom, thanks. We'll see you in a couple of weeks out at the golf course.
Thank you, sir. A couple of foursomes left.
Yeah.
Come get them.
Sign up.
All right.
Well, Ridley College announcing some big names for its 2019 Library Association Town Hall Lecture Series. Media personality and former NBA MVP Shaquille O'Neal will kick off the series in January at the Van Wezel. After that will be former FBI Director James Comey in February. In March, President John F. Kennedy's daughter Caroline Kennedy will speak. Political economist Ian Bremmer and the founder of Wikipedia, Jimmy Wales, will also hold lectures. For more information on ticket sales and a schedule of other upcoming lectures, you can go to rclassociation.org. For more on this story, plus up-to-the-minute first weather forecast, you can go to our app, both news and weather, to find. You can find it on our app store under WWSB or My Suncoast. Let's get back to the kitchen now. John is there with our good friend, Chef Larry Barrett from Simply Gourmet. Guys?
Always a pleasure having Larry in the kitchen. Larry, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Larry, before we start in, I just want to mention that we have a severe thunderstorm warning in extreme eastern sections of Hardee County. It's exiting Zolfo Springs. It's exiting areas around Wauchula. So it's really in very rural areas, moving very, very rapidly out toward Highlands County. But just an indication of how strong some of these storms are, and we're going to be watching them all afternoon long. So, to a lighter subject, what are you making for lunch for us today?
Fried green tomato salad.
Oh,
now, right here is, watch, very simple. Just take the tomatoes, we hit them with a little bit of salt, a little bit of blackening spice, and we dip them in the flour, dip them in buttermilk, and then half cornmeal and half breadcrumb.
Oh, that's what gives it that good crunch.
Oh, that's the crunch. That's the crunch that adds so much. And then I've got these beautiful little heirloom tomatoes, and they're really, really nice. I just love them. The color's beautiful. Each one has its own distinctive taste. And you just cut them up in half like so. And we'll spice these guys up. Well, not with much. My little secret ingredient, a little bit of dry tarragon. And we'll hit it with a little salt, a little pepper, and then a little red wine vinegar.
Okay.
Just a little, just to bring out that little unctuousness of those tomatoes. Tease them out. And then the extra virgin olive oil. The extra virgin olive oil, always use that for salads. Never use it for frying. It just won't work out. And then, right here, I've got part of what we're doing. This is enough for about 15 people. This is my sherry shallot vinaigrette. Oh, it's shallots, Dijon mustard. It's really an eclectic dressing. I think it's fantastic. Slightly sweet, too. There's some wild honey in there, which used to be my nickname in high school. By the way, okay, bada-boom, thank you. Yes, and then we just give it a little bit of a squirt like that.
Yeah.
Slightly sweet, slightly sour. And then we take these tomatoes and just garnish this with it. We usually, for 100, we'll put out 4 of these. Each one of these should feed pretty close to 100, to 25, 20. And then we've got that all set. And then, my favorite, the blue cheese. Really a beautiful blue cheese, a nice crumbly one. And then you're set. I'll flip these guys over. You can see what we're doing with these.
I tell you, I've been snacking on these. So really, really good.
You know what I do?
I especially like the breading on these.
Oh, fantastic! They're fantastic. I like to take them, the ones that are the same size, put a little smear of goat cheese in the middle with thyme and a piece of prosciutto, and cut them into little fourths.
Sounds like heaven on earth.
Oh boy!
Recipe for it's on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining button, and it'll take you right there with Chef Larry's instructions. Larry, thank you so very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure always.
We'll be right back.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing. But sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that. And with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Fun for the whole family, the 26th Annual Venice Shark's Tooth Festival, benefiting special athletes of Sarasota County, fossil vendors, arts and crafts, food, children's games, and live entertainment with headliners the Gator Creek Band on Friday night, Rockin' Rogues, Maiden Cane, Glass Onion, Kettle of Fish, Paisley Craze, and the Boogeymen. Admission $4, children 12 and under free. Parking is free. The annual Venice Shark's Tooth Festival, April 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Venice Airport Festival Grounds.
Car experts and customers agree there's a lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 most trusted brand, best overall brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Forester is an IIHS top safety pick for 12 years running. Now, lease the most award-winning small SUV, a new Subaru Forester for just $219 a month. Or get 0% financing with 0 down during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Florida Studio Theater presents Blue Suede Shoes, celebrating the birth of rock and roll. From the father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry, to the king himself, Elvis Presley, this musical review features such great hits as Rock Around the Clock, Mustang Sally, Johnny B. Good, and of course, Blue Suede Shoes. Critics are calling Blue Suede Shoes a burst of rock history, dynamic and high voltage. Audiences are calling it phenomenal. Blue Suede Shoes has been held over by popular demand. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Coming up, the fallout continues after FBI agents raid the home of President Trump's longtime lawyer, Michael Cohen. Plus, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Capitol Hill for his first day of testimony on the Cambridge Analytica data scandal. Why beachgoers may have to start paying to park at Siesta Beach.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story at 12:30, the latest on that surprise move from the FBI, raiding 3 locations related to President's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. ABC's Maggie Rulli is in New York with the latest.
In a stunning move, FBI agents raid the office, home, and hotel where the president's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, was staying.
I can't exaggerate the importance of this development.
Sources familiar with the investigation tell ABC News the raid is not related to Russia, but the special counsel on that investigation found concerning information that he passed along to the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York.
It seems he came upon some sort of potential criminal activity.
According to sources, FBI agents took Cohen's electronic devices, phones, and a host of documents, including some related to Cohen's $130,000 payment to adult entertainer Stormy Daniels in the days leading up to the 2016 election.
This is a strike at a person who is very close to the president.
Daniels claims she had an affair with Trump in 2006. The White House says the affair never happened, and Cohen said he entered into the hush agreement with Daniels as part of his friendship with Trump.
It's a disgraceful situation. It's a total witch hunt. I've been saying it for a long time.
He went on unprompted for nearly 8 minutes, saying the raid of his personal lawyer's office was a, quote, attack on our country, calling out his Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
So he made what I consider to be a very terrible mistake for the country.
And for the first time, not rejecting the idea of firing Robert Mueller.
Many people have said you should fire him. Again, they found nothing. And in finding nothing, that's a big statement.
And even though the president says agents broke in, the FBI did have a search warrant for Cohen's home, office, and his hotel room here. And they got that warrant from an interim U.S. district attorney here in New York who was appointed by the Trump administration. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
If you attended Trump University, you could be getting a big refund. Thousands of former students are starting to collect their refunds after a judge finalized a $25 million class action settlement against the real estate school. Former students can get back up to 90% of what they spent on classes. Some plaintiffs spent as much as $35,000 on a single class. Trump appeared in advertisements for the school before taking office, saying he handpicked instructors, but he couldn't name any of them in his deposition. New at noon, the daughter of a former Russian spy has been released from the hospital. A nerve attack in the UK, allegedly orchestrated by the Russian government, put her in a critical condition last month. The UK government blamed Russia for the attack, but Moscow continues to deny any involvement. Reports say her father's condition is improving, but at a much slower pace. Happening today, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is set to testify before Congress. He'll spend the next 2 days answering lawmakers' questions. First up, a joint hearing conducted by the Senate Judiciary and Commerce Committees this afternoon. According to prepared remarks, Zuckerberg will acknowledge his company did not do enough to protect its users' information after fallout from the Cambridge Analytica data mining scandal. Zuckerberg is also said to have a plan to prevent this from happening again. And Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak says he's leaving Facebook over its recent data controversy. Wozniak said users provide every detail of their life to Facebook, and Facebook makes a lot of advertising money off of that information, but users get none of the profits back. Wozniak said he'd rather pay for Facebook than have his personal information exploited for advertising. Strong storms in the area right now on the Suncoast. Let's get right to meteorologist John Scalzi for more on our weather. John?
Indeed. We've watched the Severe Storm Prediction Center several times today kind of make fine-tuned adjustments in the thunderstorm probabilities. And for our area now, even the coastal regions are in a marginal zone for severe weather today. Now, not so much for tornadoes, but for gusty winds and hail, it's certainly a possibility. We've had some large hail north of us, and we do have some hail in progress around the Wauchula area. Actually, it's now just about into Highlands County, but a severe thunderstorm warning was issued for that area, for that system exiting into Highlands County. Also, we have some very heavy rainfall across Manatee County, and an urban and small stream advisory is up for flooding for that area because of the potential of that heavy rainfall to continue on. We have a couple more systems back out in Gulf waters, and they'll probably all line up right over Manatee County before the system sinks further to the east. Here's that one storm system that I was talking about, now just basically over Avon Park, moving rapidly to the east, and that will continue to move away from us. And if you look at the cluster of lightning strikes associated with that cell, it's a lot less for the cells moving onshore in Manatee County. So I'm really not seeing at this present time any kind of severe weather threat, with the exception of the lightning and the heavy rainfall across Manatee County. But back here, out in the Gulf waters, there's this cluster of storms, which I'm a little more concerned about. You look at the number of strikes that it's gotten over the last hour, and 242. We had in the last hour almost 2,000 strikes out there. So some significant, there you go. So some significant amount of lightning strikes, 2,148 out there in the Gulf in that cluster of storms. And that eventually will be moving onshore in the later afternoon, giving us an increased risk of some very heavy weather. We'll talk more about it coming up in just a few on this First Alert Weather Day.
Okay, John, thank you. Sarasota County is looking into charging a fee to park at the popular Siesta Key Beach. County commissioners will discuss a possible parking fee tomorrow. They'll be looking at how much to charge and if Sarasota County residents should be exempt. Both locals and visitors have expressed mixed feelings about having to pay to park at the beach. Some are willing to pay, others say they'd likely go somewhere else. Former Siesta Key Village President Mark Smith says charging a fee will be very beneficial, but only if Sarasota County property owners are exempt.
We want to keep the money on Siesta Key and try to relieve as much traffic as we can, and the trolley's the way to do it, and this is the way to finance the trolley.
County says it will also need to determine what types of meters to use and how it will be managed. 3 recent surveys show an overwhelming majority of residents are in favor of charging tourists to park at the popular beach. Sarasota County's election supervisor says he's in need of dozens of paid workers for 2 elections later this year. Ron Turner says he needs dozens of workers to help operate the county's 99 precincts. Workers get paid between $150 and $260 a day, depending on the level of responsibility. There are long days, though, 6 a.m. to about 8 p.m. at night. But Turner says it's a great chance to see an election from the grassroots level.
These are the people that interact with the voters on election day. So really, if you want to see how an election works, this is really where kind of the rubber meets the road there when it comes to elections on an election day.
You must be registered to vote in Sarasota County to work an election. Turner is trying to staff the precincts for the primary on August 28th and the general election set for November 6th. If you're interested, you'll need to go through a training session. The details on that are on our website, mysuncoast.com. Caught on camera, crews are working to figure out what led to a fiery plane crash near an Arizona airport that killed 6 people. FAA officials say the plane took off from Scottsdale Airport before crashing on a nearby Champions golf course. Authorities are not sure yet how many people were on board, but they don't believe there were any survivors. Nobody on the ground was hurt. The NTSB is now investigating what happened. Plus, young dance students are forced to jump for their lives from a burning strip mall in New Jersey. You can see the flames engulfing the building with people trapped inside there. The massive smoke clouds continue to billow up as neighbors, first responders rush a ladder to the second floor, but it was too short to reach them, so the dancers had to jump into the arms of rescuers one by one. Somehow no one was seriously hurt. Here in Florida, police in St. Petersburg are looking for a man who they're calling the Man Bun Creeper. He was caught at a Publix grocery store using his cell phone to take photos or video up the skirts of two women. One of the women noticed, but the other still may not know she's a victim of this. If you know him or recognize the woman in the black dress or the man responsible, you're encouraged to contact St. Petersburg Police. Creepy indeed. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a popular travel destination was just named the world's busiest airport yet again. Why they may not hold on to that title for too much longer. Details when we come back.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining. Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now. Now, your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So as we've been telling you for a couple of days now, it's a first alert weather day today because of the potential of some heavy thunderstorm activity continuing on through the remainder of the afternoon. We've also already had some heavy downpours of rain and a severe thunderstorm in well inland areas exiting out of our viewing area. But nevertheless, those are the characteristic kind of storms that we can anticipate this afternoon. 76 degrees the current air temperature, dew point falling now at 70, plenty of rain showers and cloud cover around. This is the line of storms that continues to press southward. It's now moved into Manatee County and Hardee County, just about moving into Sarasota County now and also into DeSoto as well. If you look over the last 5 hours at the number of lightning strikes, you can kind of make out that the density of these lightning strikes has somewhat lessened over the course of the last hour or so, an indication that perhaps this line of storms might be lightening a little bit in the intensity that it had earlier on. These were some powerful storms moving through parts of North Florida earlier on, with some places seeing 8 inches of rain in the street and 4-inch rainfalls pretty widespread, and hail the size of golf balls. But that has now kind of decreased in intensity a little bit. There's that one storm that I was talking about that was the severe thunderstorm that's now moved into Highlands County. Not really an issue, but then we still have some cells that have some rotation in the updrafts, indicating some pretty strong storms. As you can see, those storm markers, and also hail just to the south south of Wauchula has been reported over the last hour or so. Big storms now moving into areas around Manatee County. So at about 12:56 Holmes Beach, you'll see that storm. 114 west Bradenton coming in at 119 and 130 in Ellington. That's that cluster of storms right there. Doesn't really look severe at this time, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. Look way out here into Gulf waters. You see this cluster of clouds right there? That could be another little impulse that improves the character and strength of these storms as they move on shore a little bit later in the afternoon. So around 3 to 5 o'clock, I think will be a critical time as well in the intensity of the storms moving into areas of Sarasota and Charlotte County particularly. 70% chance of rain through the remainder of the afternoon into the evening hours. And then after that, after we get past about midnight, we'll start lightening things up quite a bit. And I think by the tomorrow morning when you wake up, we'll probably even see things lightening up to the point where maybe we'll see a little bit of sunrise activity going on. Maybe the sky will lighten just a little bit. Southwest wind becomes breezy overnight tonight, so just be careful out there. Obviously, a terrible day to be out in the water. These storms will produce gusts as high as 30, 40 miles an hour out there in Gulf waters currently. And of course, seas much higher in the vicinity of the thunderstorms. First alert weather day, 70% chance of showers tomorrow morning, clearing, a little bit drier as well. Next several days, absolutely beautiful, plenty of sunshine around Sunday. A stronger cold front comes through. This could be a first alert weather day as well. 70% chance of storms then. And this front does have some cooler air behind it as temperatures fall into the mid-70s on Monday. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In consumer news, Atlanta once again takes the top spot for the world's busiest airport. According to travel data from the Airports Council International, close to 104 million passengers passed through Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in 2017, or maybe on the day I flew through there. Atlanta can thank its location as a major connecting hub and port of entry into North America for its continued dominance. But China's Beijing Capital International is close behind in second place with more than 94 million passengers and closing. Uber is ready to ride into bike sharing. Earlier this year, it launched a pilot program to let customers reserve electric bicycles in San Francisco. Now Uber's buying Jump Bikes, which is the company behind that service. There's no word yet on how much Uber is spending on the deal. Well, here at home, the Florida Studio Theater in Sarasota is now in its second week of its newest show, a gripping drama called Honor Killing. John joins us now with a member of the cast, Rachel Moulton, with more on what audiences can expect to see. John?
Thank you very much, Rachel, for coming out on this rainy day. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
By the way, you should know that when I attended the show as I was exiting, I heard some of the audience members say it was the best show of the season.
Really?
So congratulations. It was
Well,
wonderful.
Thanks. I'll take it.
Just to let people know, honor killing, you want to tell people what honor killing means?
Yeah, sure. This is a type of murder that is taken out in the name of someone who's perhaps shamed their family or disobeyed them in Islamic culture.
And in some places, it is a legal defense for murder.
Yes, yes.
So in this story, you're a New York Times reporter,
yes,
right? And you head down to Pakistan, actually,
right.
in order to investigate this murder,
correct,
right, that appears on the Times. And then the intensity of the show just picks up from there. I mean, it's just non-stop.
doesn't stop. Yeah.
It really doesn't. How do you handle that? I mean, the show does not have an intermission, so there's no time to take a breath, and it just carries on at a very high level. How did you work that? How do you manage that?
I take a lot of B12, and I sleep a lot, and I do my prana breathing before and after the show to try to calm down. It's definitely taxing on your brain and on your heart to have that much adrenaline.
It is, and I thought the set design was really cool too.
So cool, right? Yeah. The audience is seeing the show from Allison's point of view, which is really exciting. So it's a great way to see the way that the technology we are using every day in a theatricalized medium is really, I think it's really exciting.
In other words, if there's a Skype call that you're making, you see the other side of the Skype call on a video screen on the set. And
you're seeing it live. So you're seeing the actor on stage making the call, and then the audience is seeing what I would be seeing on my phone or on my computer.
What did you learn from the show? What do you think audiences learn from the show?
I hope that it triggers a dialogue about not only the cultural differences between Eastern and Western societies, but also hopefully it triggers a dialogue about misogyny and some conflicts that we have in our culture.
There are parallels, absolutely
yeah.
parallels,
Yeah.
and I just think it's wonderful too that the Florida Studio Theater is doing an original piece, a world premiere.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
give new playwrights a platform. It's fantastic.
And a first-time playwright too, which is really exciting. So
really, first time?
Female playwright.
She did pretty good
Yeah,
for the first time.
She did. She did.
It's a pretty amazing show.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for
Thank
coming in
you.
today. Really do
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Okay, back to you, Scott.
Thank you, John. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why Fleetwood Mac's guitarist Lindsey Buckingham is leaving the band again ahead of an upcoming tour.
The La Musica International Chamber Music Festival, the annual celebration of a distinctive cultural gem in Sarasota, with renowned musicians from around the world. April 9th through April 18th at the Sarasota Opera House. Visit lamusicafestival.org, click on Festival, open tickets, and get your seats now.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
at home,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-0221. That's 1-800-518-0221. Call now, 1-800-518-0221. For a free brochure, call 1-800-518-0221.
When money's tight and emergencies arise, CashNetUSA.com is available 24/7 to deliver quick loans for approved customers when they need it the most.
Apply now at CashNetUSA.com.
Money's on the way with CashNet USA.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore 2 hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7.
If you've overheard someone talking about this case, give us a call. Even the most minute part of information that you might have might be the break that we need in this case.
It has been 7 months since Jabez Spann went missing. Someone knows something. What is known, what's not known, the effort to find answers. I'm Alan Cohn. Be part of the answer. Watch the Trapezoid.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now. Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
In entertainment news, a famous film composer, an inspirational movie, and a classic album are all in the news. David Daniel has more in today's Hollywood Minute.
I prefer to not think about past accomplishments or future ones particularly. It's a working life.
How legendary a composer is John Williams? BMI, the music rights company, gave the man behind the music of Star Wars, Jaws, Close Encounters, Superman, E.T., and other classics its Icon Award back in 1999. Since then, he's given us the scores for Harry Potter, Lincoln, Memoirs of a Geisha, more Star Wars movies, and on and on. So BMI is naming an honor after him. It'll present him with the first John Williams Award at the 34th Annual BMI Film, TV, and Visual Media Awards, a black tie event next month in Beverly Hills.
Caroline, you're the captain. These girls are looking at you to lead this team.
The Miracle season made $4 million in its debut weekend, despite opening in just 1,700 theaters, fewer than most wide-release movies. Helen Hunt and William Hurt star in the inspirational sports drama based on the true story of a high school volleyball team struggling to recover from the death of its leader and star. 20 years ago, the Goo Goo Dolls went multi-platinum with their album Dizzy Up the Girl and its breakout hit Iris. Now the alt-rockers are launching a 20th anniversary tour. Every show they'll perform the entire album, followed by a set of other hits, deep cuts, and surprises. The tour begins September 30th in Phoenix, Arizona. Waiting for the Hollywood performance, I'm David Daniel.
A longtime member of rock band Fleetwood Mac is out of a job. Guitarist Lindsey Buckingham was fired over a disagreement about the band's upcoming tour. Neil Finn of Crowded House and Mike Campbell of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers have both been tapped to replace him. Buckingham joined Fleetwood Mac back in 1974 along with then-girlfriend Stevie Nicks, and then left in 1987 to pursue a solo career, and then returned to the band in 1997. Fleetwood Mac has not confirmed any dates for that upcoming tour. A memorial to Prince in California has grown a new crown for spring. 2 years ago, artist Christine Stein created a mural to honor the deceased icon. This year, Spring Surprise added a lovely touch to Stein's creation. The tree behind the mural just blossomed, with images of the mural quickly spreading on social media. She was stunned, saying she didn't even know the tree behind the mural had flowers. That is really cool looking.
That is.
All right, John, again, you're tracking those storms as they move into the area?
Indeed, go straight to radar. You can see showers and thunderstorms encompassing much of Manatee County and Hardee County. A larger cluster of cells, that dark color that you see in that one cell just offshore, that is a stronger cell moving in from, well, between Holmes Beach and all the way down to almost St. Armand. So watch for that as it moves onshore. Lots of lightning associated with it. These cells are tending to weaken, but there's a cluster of cells out in the Gulf that may be strengthening. Bob will have more on that at 5.
Okay, thank you, John. Stay dry this afternoon. We'll see you again at 5.